Hello. Hi, Cindy. How are you? Oh, Colorado. So you're with your granddaughter. How wonderful. Donna, hello. How are you? How old is your granddaughter now, Cindy? And is she totally, everything is great and she's gaining weight and all of that stuff? I'd love to know. And then whoever else is here that wants to say hello and let me know who's here. But of course, if you don't want to, that's fine too. Hi, Sharon. Happy Thursday. Yeah, so I haven't taught this class for a few weeks, right? For a few sessions. So hopefully the videos that I've made for you all, and I made a new one this time, you're able to do them. Because it's really is pretty close to what we're doing here live. I don't always address you during the class anyway. So it's either the beginning, I say hello, or at the end, and then the class is the class. My trip was ridiculously amazing, Cindy. Honestly, it was so more than I could have thought it would be. It was really wonderful. Scotland in May is more beautiful than I realized. And over the years, and I don't know how many years, because these are pretty established cheese, but the Japanese cherry blossom trees, they have them everywhere. Like in Edinburgh, they're all along Princess Street, which is right below the castle. And so beautiful in bloom. And then when we were in Inverness, they were all over there as well. So I don't know that I've seen them before because I lived there in May and I've been there at the end of May, but not the beginning. So from a spring is blooming perspective, they were amazing. And then they have this yellow shrub called, I think, gorse that was everywhere. So all these little tiny roads, you see these like yellow columns that were going down, and it was just so beautiful. And there's something about Scotland, the nature and being in nature, that is so therapeutic. So it was really, really lovely. So thanks for asking. Yeah. Okay, good, Donna. Thanks. Yeah, because that's the thing. I think for many years, it's been not over 9 years that I started teaching for Torrance, the yoga for osteoporosis, that, I don't miss very many. But now that I have these travel plans, I take groups to Scotland and Bali, I'm definitely going to be missing some of my recorded classes, my YouTube, my live classes. So if I have those options there, I hope you still do them, because this is really about what we do all the time for our body and our bones, not to take breaks. When I'm on vacation, I still do a lot of my own practice. And then I did teach actually this time in Scotland. But I walk a lot too. I think one day I almost walked 18,000 steps. I felt like my hips were going to fall off. So I don't even know what that terminology means, but really I feel it in my body when I walk that much. All right. So anything going on that anyone wants to ask or share with me, please let me know. Because I have an intention I was thinking of for today. And yeah, but if anything in particular, any questions, anything, let me know. Yeah. And so another thing is my Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones. My next one is starting on Tuesday, the lives. So if it is something you're thinking about looking deeper into your physiology and the reason why you have bone loss or the contributing factors of osteoporosis, my Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones, you either do it with labs and you run labs to look deeper, or the no lab option is a 3-month program where I uncover a lot of the root causes or share a lot of information about how you could find root causes in your own body that contribute to bone loss. So from a biochemical, physiological perspective, that program definitely goes deep into gut health, bone health, and what we can do to support bone health. So look on my website. There's information about that course starting next Tuesday is my first live. Or you could have a call with me and ask me questions. All right, so I'm going to go start. And then if you have anything, I guess you can save it for the end because I cannot see from back here if you have any questions. All right. So the intention for today's class is going to be give it your all in each posture. I'm going to do a lot of postures today, usually 30 seconds, probably more like close to a minute. When you think about that, when you think about 30 seconds or a minute, it's really not a long time. Yet, of course, when you're in something and it's a challenge, it can seem long. So do your best, try to give as much as you can. That's how you're going to create the maximum stimulation. Each posture has a specific intention. So really, even if, it's either hips, pelvis, muscles, bones, joints, spine. So the areas that are really important to you, give it even more effort, and then be in your body so you know what's appropriate for you in terms of what you're giving. All right. Before I came live, I saw that Mick Jagger, there was an image of Mick Jagger, and I think he's around the age 80. And it said, "These are my secrets to staying healthy at like around age 80." And he just posted this. And the image of him was in spinal balance. He was doing this. And I thought, oh my gosh, Mick Jagger is doing yoga or yoga poses. And he's promoting it, which is great. So, all right, just whatever you're doing, you being here is good for you, good for your body, your bones, your mind, and do your best. All right, let's take we need to block, a strap, and a blanket. So take the strap and the block off to the side. Do some kind of supported back bend. So you want to have some way to bend your spine. So especially around the heart, if you put something around your heart, that will be a way for you to support a back bend. I'm going to do it with a blanket and just put it underneath my heart. And I'm going to roll it up pretty high. So I want a pretty deep back bend. And believe it or not, you don't need to put very much back there because this part of the spine is not very flexible. So fold your blanket in whatever way you need. I think I'm going to do a little more. So I did 3 folds. I'm going to do 4. And if there's something else you'd rather do, and at this point, if you have a practice, you might have other things that you know are better for your body. So choose that if that's an option. And you may even want 2 blankets. So you have one at the back of your head and one at the back of your heart. Coming onto the side, making sure your front spine stays nice and open. And so this is not a very big folded blanket, but it really does allow for a lot of opening. And you'll know you're right when you start to feel your chest, your shoulders, maybe even your spine, and then your belly stretch. So come into whatever way you would like to begin your practice, to allow your body and your mind to integrate to this present moment, to be very body aware. Beginning to arrive, closing your mouth, breathing in and out through your nose. And then just being an observer of your thoughts and of where you are right now at this moment. Keeping your mouth closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Allow your mind to move around your body, noticing where you feel tightness, tension, stretching. And with each breath, explore a different area of your body, noticing what you notice. And then let's use a wave-like patterned breath, filling the lungs from the lower lobes, middle, and upper lobes. So begin by breathing down to your belly, down to the lower ribs. Feel the lower body expand and feel an increase in pressure as you breathe deep, diaphragm presses down, and you create what's called the intra-abdominal pressure in the lower belly. Breathing down to your tailbone, into your pelvis. So we're going to move the breath up into the upper lungs, really focusing on the lower part, beginning and ending with the diaphragm for this action. Keep your mouth closed. Take a big exhale. Inhale, lower ribs, middle chest, upper chest. Exhale, lower ribs, middle chest, upper chest. Inhale down to the belly, to the lower ribs, and to the chest. And exhale, belly, lower ribs, chest. Inhale, belly, lower ribs, chest. Exhale, belly, lower ribs, chest. Inhale, belly, lower ribs, chest. Exhale, belly, lower ribs, chest. Continue on your own, feeling and noticing the breath coming into and out of your lungs. Belly, lower ribs, chest. Stay with your breath. Stay in this moment. And finishing the breath you're on, take 5 more slow, long, deep breaths.
When you finish the last breath, give the breath back to your body. Allow your body to breathe itself. And bring your awareness to your fingers and your toes, wiggle fingers and toes. Move in any way that you feel you need to stretch your body. You could come into a fully extended position, or keeping your knees bent if your back is not happy right now. You could roll your wrist or spread your fingers. Explore what feels right for you to create more movement and mobility in your body. And then bend your knees. So we're going to do a little movement here. So I have the blanket underneath my chest. If you have a bigger elevation than this, if you're on a block or you rolled up your blanket to be along your spine, come off of that. You could put a blanket underneath you like this and maybe even only one fold, so it's not quite as intense. And at this point, you probably have more openness in your body. So we're going to do a little bit here, manipulating the thoracic spine to stay in that extended position, or at least in a neutral position. If you do need something underneath your head, get something underneath your head. Then bringing the arms out to the side, bending the elbows and letting the arms go as high as your shoulders will allow. Take your feet as wide as your mat, kneecaps are up towards the sky. Let's begin with a little bit of movement side to side with the kneecaps, keeping the soles of the feet on the ground. So you're really locking in your rib cage here, and you're going to start to first move the hips. We're going to be warming up this whole midsection of the body. So pay attention to this, because we are mobilizing joints, and there's a lot of protection in this part of your body. So really focusing and noticing what you notice in your body. If you close your eyes, you'll be better at detecting safe movements for your body here. And bring yourself back to center. When we start to rotate our trunk, that's where many injuries happen. So we want to bring in this rotation we're going to bring in, but we want it to be safe. Bring your knees together, your feet are together. Let your head go to the right, let your legs go to the left, and only go as far as you feel the appropriate tension in your torso. Come back up to center and slowly go in the other direction. Head to the left, knees to the right. See if you could feel this in your ribs or in your upper chest where the blanket is. And then the other side. Don't go too far because it'll be too hard to bring yourself back. Stretching core muscles, stabilizing muscles, back muscles, warming your body up to twist and to back bend to create spinal bone stimulation. Matching breath with this movement, you inhale into the twist. You exhale, contracting your core to come back up to center. Inhale into the twist and exhale to come back up to center. Inhale and exhale to come back to center. Close your eyes, feel and notice the stretch. Notice what's happening to the low back. Does it feel appropriate? If your low back is not happy, try to push the sacrum and the top of your pelvis into the floor. And that'll give a little bit more support for the spine. The next time you come in one direction, stay there. Breathe to the side of your waist that's up, so the opposite side of the direction of the knees. Breathe to that waist. Lengthen your pelvis away from your rib cage. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Let's go to the other side. Let your knees go to the other side, head in the opposite direction, and then breathe into that waist and low back, the waist that's on the top. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's warm up the upper body. So bring yourself onto the side. Leave the blanket here by your heart. Take your hands behind your head. We're going to rotate the thoracic spine. So we just rotated lumbar spine and lower body. Let's bring that rotation into the thoracic spine. So bring your knees straight off your body and actually grab your block. So grab your block and put your block between your knees. And you want your kneecaps to be right stacked on top of each other so that your pelvis is stable and the rotation and the movement's going to come in the thoracic spine. Clasping the hands behind the head, elbows are moving towards each other. Exhale. And then inhale, reach your elbows up and back. Keep your knees where they are. Don't let your knees slide away from each other. Exhale back. Inhale to open. Elbow up, shoulder blade towards the spine. Heart presses forward, opening up. Use that upper elbow to be what's really pushing back the most. And then exhale. You're going to feel this right around the lower ribs. You've got your rotational muscles, the obliques, low back muscles in action. Really push your heart forward. And then the shoulder blade is going to help to add that cervical rotation. That thoracic rotation. The thoracic spine. One more. Up and back. Stay here. Stay here. Push your heart forward. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Squeeze the block. Keep the kneecaps stacked. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. So this is called butterfly, and it's actually a physical therapy movement. Or I learned it from a physical therapist and a yoga therapist. She's both. Take your, when we do this, we get the shoulder blade to help us. So really intentionally rotating the thoracic spine. Not a very flexible part of the spine, but it is an area that we can actually create a stronger spine when we rotate safely. So let's go to the other side. Come back through neutral, push your feet into the ground, lift your tushy off the floor so you could go to neutral. Bring your knees in and let your knees go to the opposite direction. Take the block in between your knees. Kneecaps are stacked. Take your hands behind your head. Exhale. As you inhale, let your elbow go up. Slide your shoulder blade towards the center of the spine. Push the opposite elbow into the ground. Push your heart forward and rotate open in this direction. And then exhale back. So with awareness, you're not just coming into rotation. You're using your elbow to go up, actively sliding shoulder blade towards the spine, pushing your heart forward and rotating your upper trunk. One more, come and stay in this position. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Bring yourself back to neutral. So come back, push your pelvis, or push your feet into the ground, lift your pelvis, come into a neutral position. Let your spine settle here. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself onto your side. From here, using your hand to push yourself up to a seated position. So let's move on to creating bone building stimulation with the postures.
Doing a little bit more warm up for hips. Great, that was great spinal warm up. So take your blanket, fold your blanket, put it up at the top of the mat. Make sure you have your your block and your strap handy. So bring that there. Bring yourself onto your tushy. Let's warm up the core. Walk your feet closer. So you're balancing on your spine. Bring your feet closer to your body. Now we're going to do Navasana boat pose, which is a core exercise. The key thing is you don't let this happen in your body. So you want to be as active as possible, really reaching with your chest. And so if letting go of your hands compromises your spine, you want to hold on. So bring yourself up, and here you are balancing on your spine, the base of your spine. Now contract your core, hug your lumbar spine. If it makes sense for you to attempt to take your hands off, you can take one off or the other or both. Lift your heart, long spine. Make sure that your knees are coming straight off of your body, feet are straight ahead. Really hug your lumbar spine here. So active core, push your belly button to your spine, lift your heart. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself slowly down. Bring the soles of your feet together. Hold on to the soles of your feet. Lengthen your spine. Try to bring your heart forward here. And if you want to deepen this, it's moving at your hip joint, bringing your heart forward. Take one more breath. And then let's come down onto the ground. So bring yourself forward, keeping your front spine nice and long, all the way down onto the ground. Bring the blanket underneath your head, and let's warm up our body. Take your arms out to the side, take your feet off the mat, take your feet a little far away from you. Then start to move your legs side to side. Think about pushing your legs away from you and tilting your pelvis. So your pelvis is tilting side to side and your legs are moving away from you. So don't think about getting your legs to the side of the floor. That's not the goal. The goal is the legs are moving away from you as they move to the side. And the arms on the side of your body will help to lock in your rib cage so you can really get that nice lower body stretch. And then bring yourself back to center. We're going to focus on the hip joint, warming up the hip joint. So make sure your blanket's behind your head. Take your arms long and your legs long. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly draw the right knee in. Go slow. Draw the right knee in. Either hold on to the shin or the hamstring. Draw it in deeply. That's your exhale. Whenever we bend our body or we come back to center, we're typically exhaling. Whenever we open or lengthen, we're inhaling. So take your hand on your leg and inhale, let your leg move out to the side, stretching the adductor. See if you can feel the inner thigh muscle stretch here. And then the exhale, bringing the leg back to center. Hold on with the outside of the right leg with the left hand. Right leg to the ground, and draw your right leg over to the left. See if you can feel that stretch on the side of the hip. And then bring yourself back to center, holding on underneath. Inhale to unbend, exhale to bend. Inhale, unbend, exhale. One more, inhale to unbend. From here, point your toe, go slow here. Hip flexors, core, as you lengthen your leg all the way down. Inhale, arms are overhead, legs are straight. Exhale, slowly draw the left leg in. Inhale, left leg to the left. Exhale, draw that leg across the body. Inhale to unbend. Exhale, bend. Unbend and bend. One more. From here, point your foot, go slow. Slower is harder. Inhale, arms are overhead. Exhale, draw the knee into your chest.
the right knee. Inhale, right knee to the right. Exhale, cross the body. Inhale to unbend, exhale, bend. Go slow. Go with your breath. Moving meditation. Lower on the exhale. Inhale, arms are overhead. Exhale, left leg. Inhale. Feel that deep stretch in your pelvic area, your inner thigh. And then exhale, feel the outer thigh, the glute area. Inhale to unbend. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly exhale, contract your core. That's when you can activate core, when you're exhaling. Inhale. Right side, go really as deep as you can, drawing that knee in as deep as you can. Inhaling to the side. Exhale, cross your body. Inhale to unbend. Exhale, bend. Try to be really as strong as you can. Reach with the heel up towards the sky. When you're here, point, feel that strong stretch. Lengthen your leg as long as you can on the way down. Strong hips. Inhale, arms are overhead. Last time, left leg in. Inhale, left leg to the left. Exhale, cross your body. Inhale to unbend. Exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Point your foot, lengthen your leg. Long, long, long. And then stretch your body. Bending your legs. Draw your knees into your chest and rock side to side. So we're going to move on now, doing more postures. We'll begin with a stretch, pulling on the pelvis. We're going to do the leg stretch. Don't just hang out here. So it's easy to do this posture and to relax when you're in it. But really, the more force you can create on pulling on your pelvis, the more bone stimulation you'll create. So we're getting this muscle group here, the hamstring, attaches onto the lower leg and attaches onto the pelvis. So if you keep your pelvis in a neutral, you don't let it, the low back or the pelvis tilt backwards. So try this. Take your left leg, bend your left leg. This is always a harder concept to actually explain, and I get asked this question often. So I want to try to explain this concept. Left leg is bent, right leg is bent, right knee is in. So put the right leg where the right leg bone is above your pelvis. And right now, your low back is not touching the ground, right? If you could take the opposite hand and slide your hand underneath your body. So take your hand, slide it underneath and put it right here by the small of your back. So do that, slide the hand underneath the small of your back. Now, when the leg is right above here, you're in what's called a neutral pelvis. The low back is in the extension curve or the back bend. Now, as you draw this leg closer to your chest, keep going, you're going to feel that right side, you're going to feel the pressure because you start to add flexion to the lumbar spine. You're actually tilting your pelvis backwards. So when we do this stretch, the more neutral you could be in your pelvis, the more access you'll have to your hamstrings, the more you'll pull on the origin of the hamstring muscle onto the pelvis. So this is not about how far back do I get my leg, because if I tilt my pelvis backwards, I could go even farther back with this leg. But really you want to stay in the neutral. And when you're in a neutral, you're not going to go much beyond a 90 here. So it's not about getting your leg all the way back here, because I had to tilt my pelvis to do that. So hopefully that makes sense. The intention is to pull on the hamstring that's attached to the pelvis. Take your strap, put it on your right foot. Keeping the left leg straight actually will help to keep your pelvis a little bit more neutral. But for some of you, that may be too hard to keep that leg straight. So of course, doing what you can here. Take your hands, wrap your hands around, draw the leg down deep into the socket so you actually feel a lot of tension in your right buttock on the floor. And then make sure your right waist is really long, so push the top of the right pelvis away from you. Toes are pointing towards the wall behind you. Exhale, firm up that leg, push it away, and now enter the posture. Guide the leg towards the wall behind you, trying to create as much stimulation as you can. A lot of pulling action on the bones. Pulling down with the strap, pushing away with the strap, and pulling the strap towards the wall behind you. Close your eyes and feel this in your body. Create a lot of tension. Don't let go of the tension in the whole time we're in the posture. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to a neutral. So let go of the tension. Take the strap in the right hand. Slide your hand down. Now, for those of you that don't have a lot of flexibility, you're going to need to use maybe a block here or a wall or a chair to hold the weight of your leg. Now we're trying to pull on the pelvis on the inside of the thigh. So keep your leg as high as you can, straight leg. So for you, it might be here, wherever it is. And then let's inhale into this posture, bringing your leg out to the side, push into the strap, long right waist, pushing into that strap so there's action, drawing the leg up towards the wall behind you, either pushing left leg or left foot into the ground to help stabilize your pelvis. Don't let your left pelvis fly away from the ground. You want to feel a lot of tension in the inner thigh area. Try to push both buttocks onto the ground. Take one more breath. And then bring the leg back up to neutral. Let's switch. Take the left foot into the strap. Hold on with both hands. Long left waist, so really push that leg away from you. Straighten the right leg slowly. We'll bring you into that neutral pelvic position. Then we're going to firm up the left leg. Push the left leg away from you. Keep yourself in a neutral pelvis as you guide the leg back towards the wall behind you, creating as much tension as you can handle. And working with that tension the whole time you're in the posture. And breathe. Keep creating tension. That's what builds bones. Demand more right now. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Let's do the other, this side, the inner thigh. I'll do it with the wall today to show you. A wall or a chair can be really helpful, especially if you're not super flexible, which most people aren't unless they practice yoga all the time. It's not something that many people have. I didn't have that when I first started the practice. So long waist here. We're going to enter this. Keep your leg as high as you can, as straight as you can. Exhale. And then you're going to inhale to enter. So at some point, if you had a chair that you needed your leg to rest on, or you could be near a wall. So at some point, the pinky toe edge hits that wall. So you still have, your leg is pretty high and you have a pretty good distance between the left inner thigh and the right upper thigh. Keep your pelvis stable. So both hips are pointing up towards the sky. Don't let your right buttock fly away from the ground. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then bring your leg back up to center. Bend the right leg, take the strap off. Take your legs in, shake your legs, and then draw your knees into your chest. So let's move up to this part of the body. We're going to work on core stabilizing muscles. We're going to come into a twist that we're hovering and holding. This is actually a pretty challenging posture, so make sure you come in appropriately. We're going to take a block and bring a block in between the lower legs, and this is the level to put it on. So not the big level and not the small one, but to come to the side of your block and put that between your legs. Flex your feet. Legs, wherever your leg bones are, the upper leg bones determines what pressure you put in your core and your back. For those that are a little bit more advanced, let your legs be right off your pelvis. And if you need to do a different modification, legs closer to the chest will be better and more safe for low back. So you decide where you're going to be, squeeze the block, and let your legs move to the side. So coming into a place where you feel that there's an intensity and you feel your buttock really pressing into the ground and the other one is not, take your hands to the side. Your head goes in the opposite direction of your legs. Squeeze the block and hover here. Long waist, contracted core. You could try unbending the legs if you want a little bit more tension. Choosing what's appropriate for your body. Last breath. Bring yourself back to center. Take a break. Bring your knees into your chest. Let your core muscles settle and relax and release. Take the block out for a second. Just put it on your belly. Creating the appropriate tension in your body. That's what's going to build muscles, bones. Block in between the legs. Flex your feet. Arms are out to the side. And now rocking to the other side to the place where it's going to be a challenge to hold it for 30 plus seconds. Close your eyes, breathe. And find the appropriate place for you to manage this, to hold it, to work, to stay here. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring yourself back to center. Take the block out to the side, draw the knees into your chest. Let your low back flatten into the ground. Then take your legs wide, hold on underneath your hamstrings, really draw the knees towards your shoulders with spread legs. Helps to release that low back tension. And then bring your feet onto the ground. So let's create tension for building bones and muscles in our spine. Doing bridge, take the strap, make a loop or tie it, and bring your feet through that loop. And then you only want to be about hip distance here. Put your feet onto the floor. So keep the blanket there for a second. I want you to see this support that gets created and how you're able to really get this nice movement in your pelvis, tilting forwards and backwards, pushing out on the strap. Feel how you're rocking through that sacrum, through the base of your spine, sacrum, tailbone, tilting your pelvis, taking out some of the tension that may have came up from the last posture. And then bring yourself to neutral. So take the blanket away from the back of the head. Try to get as much of a back bend as you can to come into your spine. So we're going to come up in this. We're going to do 10 breaths. My breaths are pretty slow, so it'll definitely be probably close to a minute. If you need to come out before that, please do so. And the whole time you're in it, constantly working towards creating more tension, trying to push the back of the spine into itself to stimulate bone growth, and pushing away from the ground with your hands, whether your arms are like this, or you clasp underneath your body. Your feet push into the ground and your arms to lift your rib cage away and to bend it as much as you can. So the whole time trying to create as much bone and muscle building stimulation as you can. So go side to side, slide the shoulder blades towards the spine, lift your head up, lengthen the back of your neck, walk your feet closer to your body, and then push out on the strap so you feel that action in your body, or that action, muscular action. Squeeze your tushy cheeks. Exhale. And as you inhale, closing your eyes, start to push away from the ground with your arms and with your legs, lifting your rib cage away from the floor and bending it into a back bend. Begin to take your breaths up to 10 breaths, and when you're finished, come out. Feel the front of your body stretch. Unbend your hip joint. Reach your knees long. Front spine is stretching open. And then press the back of the spine into itself. Each bone, let it push into itself. Push your feet into the floor. Push your arms into the floor. Equally pushing your arms and feet. One more breath. You're going to slowly bring yourself out by taking your arms, relaxing your arms, close your eyes, start to push your spine one vertebra at a time towards the ground. Push out on the strap. And then lift your heels off the floor as you get lower towards your lower ribs. Pull your pelvis away from you. Lengthen and stretch your low back as you bring your spine down one vertebra at a time. And then bring the blanket back behind your head. Draw your knees in, take the strap off. Knees into your chest, rocking side to side. And then come onto your side. Take your hand onto the ground. Push away from your hand and your elbow. Let's bring yourself up. Take your blanket. So move your strap off to the side. Block and stay there. Put your block up. Come onto all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders. Take your right hand long, your left leg long. Exhale. Inhale to lift up your limbs and exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale to lift up. Stay here. Long with your left leg, long with your right arm. Check yourself here. This is a lot about your posture and your joint alignment in your spine. If you want to challenge yourself, lift your right foot off the floor. Contract your core, hug your lumbar spine. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. Let's do the other side. Put your hand right underneath your shoulder. Spread your right hand. Take your right leg long, left arm long. Lift your head. Don't let it hang. Exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale to lift. Stay here. That challenge will come if you take the right or the left foot away from the ground. One more breath. And then bring yourself down, come out. Take your hands. Move your fingers. Roll your wrists. So let's do plank. Do what you need to do for your wrists. If you need to do some kind of modification, do that. Come into any variation you need, whether that's the modified plank or the full plank, pushing through the heels, push away from the ground with your feet, with your hands, long with your spine, head is active. Deep breaths. Push your feet into the floor. Make sure the pinky toes are touching the floor. And then try to slide the feet up towards the chest. Feel how it activates the deep flexors in the body. Fingers are spread. Push your fingers into the floor. Push away from the floor with your hands. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. So resting in puppy dog, take your hands wide, arms are straight, bending your hip joint. Keep your head active, lengthen your spine, forehead on the block or on the ground. Deep breaths, keep your mouth closed and catch your breath.
Take one more breath. Leading with your head, bring yourself up. And then come up to a kneeling position. You can flip your toes under if that's something you can do. Or for those who have knees that won't bend, you may need to be up here. And then everyone come up here. We're going to come to standing. So bring a foot forward, pretty far forward. Take your hands on your thighs. Flip your back toes under. Bring yourself forward. Push away from the floor. Bring yourself up and out. And then clear your space. Get a chair. So get a chair and either be near a wall or have your chair handy. And then we'll need the block for this as well. So bring your block to the chair. So either chair, wall, block, whatever, your practice. We're going to come into triangle. So let's start from mountain to Tadasana. So a nice aligned position in your body. Find that alignment. Push your feet into the floor. And from mountain, step wide as you can. And from here, toes move away from you, back heel moves away. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and they're down. Reach down with your hands. Exhale, and then inhale, lift your arms. Reach with your arm. And then either bring yourself onto the back of the chair, the seat of the chair, or the block. Pushing your feet into the floor. Feel like you're ripping the floor apart and come to the pinky toe edges so you're active in your arches, long in your spine, pushing away from whatever your hand is on, long spine, and then add a rotational force to the spine. Bringing your heart forward. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. You're going to push your feet into the floor, bring yourself up, bring yourself out. Keep your chair and your block there. So we're going to come into twisted triangle with all the props that are there. So coming to face your chair, bring your leg forward, so the outside leg forward, so you can rotate into the same direction you were open with your triangle. So if your triangle was here, you had this leg forward, you're now going to switch and put the other leg forward to do the twisted triangle. You have the chair, you have a block. So if it makes it a little easier, come back to where you were in your triangle. Whatever leg this is for you, for me it's my left. Whatever leg this is for you, do the opposite leg forward. And then your feet are 2.5 feet apart. And you want to be a decent distance away from that chair so you're not leaning on it too much when you come forward. Hands around the waist. Push your feet into the ground. Bring your awareness to your hips. And it's where your hips are, where your leg attaches to your body is where you bend to come forward. When you can't go any farther, you take your hand either diagonally across or on the chair or on the block. If you could bend this low and keep your legs straight. And then when you're here, long spine and rotation. Creating a lot of stimulation in the spine and in the hip. balance, flexibility, strength. Feel that in your body. Take one more breath. Keep your head lifted. Take the tension out the front leg. Bring yourself up and out. Come back to mountain. Let's go to the other side. So bring whatever it is you have, a chair or a block, to the other side. And then coming into mountain to stack your joints to come through that properly aligned position. From here, legs are wide. Toes move away from you, back heels away. So an external rotated hip joint and an internal. So putting tension into the hips, and we're going to add more tension by bending or flexing in the hip joint. Take your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Reach down with your hands. Exhale. Then inhale to raise your arms. From here, reach long. Start to bend that front hip. Bring yourself forward. You're either going to be on the top, the chair, or on a block. And it really depends on your range of motion and flexibility in your muscles. Push your feet into the floor. Feel like you're ripping the floor apart. And come into your triangle. When you're here, long spine, rotate your trunk up towards the sky. So adding some spinal rotation, tension. Take one more breath. Push your feet into the floor. Bring yourself up. And bring yourself out to your mountain. So we'll come on to twisted triangle on this side. So whatever leg was forward, it's the opposite. So bring your front foot forward, back foot back. You know, having a wider stance, so being railroad tracks versus tightrope feet can be a little bit more helpful when it comes to the balance aspect of this posture, because this is flexibility, strength, and balance. So wider stance when you come forward and rotate over versus a more narrow stance when you come forward and rotate over. So choose the foot position that sets you up for success. Front foot forward, back foot back. Hands around the waist, push your feet into the floor, and then long spine, bend your hip joint to come forward. Back of the chair, seat, or block. Long spine, and then add rotation. Push that back foot into the floor to give you more length in your spine and more rotation. Take one more breath. And to come out, bend your knee, bring yourself forward, bring yourself up, bring yourself into mountain. Let's do balance. So coming into tree, bring your feet together. So if balance is an issue, you may need to turn your chair around or be near the wall. So set yourself up for success. So if you do have issues with balance, have your chair either in front of you or on the side of you, whatever you need. Take your feet close together, hands are down. Push down with your hands, down with your feet. Push your body weight onto one side. Bend the toe, knee out to the side, and bring your foot up in between your ankle and your knee. And then from here, hand position either on your waist, on your out to side, wherever you want it to be. Do your tree. Balance. Lift your heart, long spine. Strong balance is important for bone health. Take one more breath. Slowly bring yourself out, back to the mountain. Push your feet down, reach down with your hands. Bring your body to the other side, bend your knee, toe out to the side. Bring your foot up and find tree in this side. Find something to focus on that helps you find that balance. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back into your mountain. Then shake your limbs. Let's do one more strength pose to end. We're going to do the chair. So chair, you want your tushy to go back. You want to bend your hips. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Have your feet be, actually take the block between your legs. Just put the block between your legs. That'll help there. And that'll keep you block distance. Push your body weight back so it goes into your heels like you're sitting back on something. Then bring your arms forward, coming into chair. Squeeze the block. Reach long with your hands, push back with your tushy. Core protects the lumbar spine. Deep breaths here. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up and out. Finding mountain. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Let's come down to the final posture, which is Shavasana. So bringing yourself down onto the ground. Anything you need to do last minute, knees to chest or limbs in the air, settling your joints, whatever it is you feel that you need, do it. Then bring yourself into final rest, Shavasana. Stay connected to your breath. Let everything settle.
Govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimame akame. 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 Govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimame akame.
Gently begin to deepen your breath.
And start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Notice how your body feels. Slowly bend your knees, draw one knee in at a time. And then rock onto your side. Take your hand into the ground and bring yourself up. Keep your eyes closed, bring your hands together. Press your heart to your hands to your heart. Let's close the practice with sound. Mouth is closed, exhale. Inhale. Bring your hand up. In gratitude, we bow for this opportunity, for this wisdom. So hopefully you were able to create a lot of muscle and bone and joint strengthening stimulation today. Every time you show up will be different. And every time you show up is an opportunity to go against the grain of aging and to focus on building strength in your body and in your mind. All right. So that felt strong for me. I definitely was in a place of strength today for myself because each day is different. And today that's what it was for me. So let me see. You're welcome. Thanks, Donna. Thank you, Cindy. Carolyn, hi. Good. Yeah. Well, hopefully I directed a little differently today for you to find those because we did do a lot of holding. We did longer postures. So hopefully that was appropriate for you all. Thank you for being here. We're back. I'm back for a while. Bali in September. That'll be my next big break. But other than that, I'll be here most of the time. One more thing I'm leaving for, but other than that, I'll be here. All right. Thanks, ladies, for joining me. I hope you feel great. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.